Fidelity publishes a number for this, and you have probably run into it somewhere. By age 30, you should have an amount equal to your salary saved. If you just did that arithmetic on yourself and felt something drop, hold on. I went and read where the number comes from. It is doing something narrower than people think. Fidelity's full set runs like this: a year's salary by 30, 3 times that by 40, 6 times by 50, 8 by 60, 10 times your salary by 67, which is the age the whole structure is built around. 67 is full Social Security age for anyone born after 1960. So the latter is reverse engineered from a retirement date the government picked. Fidelity's rule says an amount equal to your salary by 30, and the rule ships with a set of assumptions people skip. I pulled them off Fidelity's own page this week. The first assumption is that you save 15% of your pay every year, counting what your employer adds, since you were 25, without stopping. It assumes you stop working at 67 and that you want retirement to replace 45% of your income. That is the person the number describes, someone who was already putting away 15% while they were 25. So the milestone is a projection of one particular savings life, run forward through simulations. Fidelity says as much on the page and calls the milestones goalposts. A 30-year-old who spent their 20s paying rent and student loans is being measured against someone who was already saving hard at 25. Two different people. If that had been you, you would know already. There is a second number in this conversation, and it does more damage than Fidelity's does. It sits behind most of the savings by age charts you scroll past. The most trustworthy version of it comes from one place. The Federal Reserve runs a study called the Survey of Consumer Finances. It goes out once every 3 years. Those savings by age numbers come from it. The most recent wave landed in 2022. There has not been another one since, so the figures circulating in 2026 are 4 years old before anyone quotes them. The Federal Reserve publishes what American families hold in retirement accounts, and there is a filter on it that changes the whole picture. In 2022, the median came to $86,900. The mean came to $334,000. The Fed uses a specific word for both of those figures: conditional. In its own data tool, it spells out what that means. The amounts shown are for those who have any. Families with nothing saved are not in there. They get excluded from the calculation before it starts. So the bar you have been holding yourself against was built from people who had already cleared the first step. And look at the gap. When the mean sits at nearly 4 times the median, a small group at the top is hauling the average upward. You are being compared to a filtered group, filtered twice, once by who got counted at all, once by who sits at the top of the pile. The honest read is narrow. That chart describes people who already had an account in 2022, and nothing more than that. I went looking for the version of this number for people your exact age, and I could not verify one from the Federal Reserve directly. The by-age breakdown sits behind a tool that will not hand it over cleanly. Every site quoting a tidy figure for 30-year-olds got it somewhere downstream of that, and I am not going to read you a number I could not stand behind. Both of those figures share a problem. They are balances, and a balance at 30 records things that already happened to you. A balance reports the past. It reflects what you were paid, whether your job offered a match, and how expensive the city you landed in turned out to be. Staring at it harder will not move it. Your retirement balance at 30 is a record of your 20s, and the savings rate is the number still in your hands. Fidelity's whole 1x by 30 rule runs on that one input: 15% a year, employer match included. That 15% counts what your employer already puts in, so if your employer matches, part of that is already covered before you touch anything. What you add on top is the part you control. The next raise you get is the cheapest place to find the rest, because you have not adjusted your life to the money yet. Go and find your current percentage today. Raise it by 1 point. Set the next raise to land there before it reaches your account. You decide your rate. The balance is just a scoreboard tallying up whatever you have already decided. The rate you can change this afternoon. The balance you can only watch. Spend 10 years checking the balance every month, and you will feel worse without changing anything. Worth saying plainly why these charts hurt more than they help. A savings figure feels like a report card, so people read it as a verdict on how carefully they have lived. It measures something much duller than that. What sits inside a retirement balance at 30 is circumstance. It carries your salary history for 8 years. It carries whether your employer matched anything, which was never your decision. It carries what rent cost where you lived and whether anybody helped you along the way. Someone who took a lower paid job they cared about will sit below someone who did not. And the chart reads those two lives as one being ahead. The chart scores circumstance as discipline. That is why it stings. It is also why people go quiet about money in their 30s. Nobody wants to publish a number they think reflects on their character. It also carries none of the things people assume it does. Effort does not show up. Neither does whatever you learned in those 8 years, or the raise you are about to get, or the 30-odd years still in front of you. All of that sits outside the number, and none of it is captured by comparing yourself to a chart. Before writing the rule off entirely, it earns credit for one thing. 15% is a defensible target, and it holds up on its own arithmetic. Fidelity built those milestones by simulation, running the plan through historical market conditions and keeping the rate that held up across nearly every one. So 15% is a rate chosen to survive bad decades. Somebody saving that much through the worst stretch on record still lands somewhere reasonable, which is the entire point of picking a number that high. A target built to survive a bad decade is a useful thing to carry. The failure is in how the number gets used. A goalpost tells you which direction to walk. The intranet reads it backwards, as a score for walking already done. That reading was never in the design. A heading to walk toward. Read that way, a year's salary by 30 stops being an accusation. It becomes a direction of travel, which is a far more useful thing to hold at 30 than a verdict about your 20s. None of this makes the milestone useless. A goalpost is a reasonable thing to carry around, and 15% is a good target to walk toward. Behind is doing a lot of work in that sentence, worth unpacking. Behind a projection built for a saver who started at 25 is one thing. Behind an average that excluded everyone with nothing is a different thing. Neither of them measured you. Two problems, and they have different answers. Being behind a projection is fixable. You raise the percentage. Being behind that average barely counts as behind once you see how the number was built. If you are starting from nothing at 30, you have 37 years before the age this whole ladder was built around. That is most of a working life. The rate is the only lever you are still holding at 30, and the balance follows it eventually. Go and look at your percentage this afternoon. Smaller task than it sounds. It also decides more than the balance ever will. And that's the honest answer. No hype, no noise. If it helped, hit subscribe, and the next one comes right to you. Skip the noise, build real wealth. See you in the next one.